Madam President, university faculty and staff, honored guests, friends and families, and my fellow Wahoos of 2017. My name is Josh Cockrum, and I have the sincere pleasure of welcoming you to the beginning of graduation weekend for the amazing class that is the class of 2017. Y'all, we did it. This weekend, we are surrounded by family, friends, and your roommates' parents, whom you are hoping don't remember every embarrassing story that your roommates told about you. For the parents, family, ever-supporting friends and mentors, this is a time to recognize and to commemorate the accomplishments of your student. For my fellow classmates, although I know many of you are thinking about other things like graduation parties and perhaps streaking the lawn one last time in face of public nudity, this should be a time in which we reflect on our years together, growing with the seasons, creating our everlasting mark on the University of Virginia. Like the rainbow of color that is the fall, we came into the university with a great diversity of interests, backgrounds, and experiences. Our first year was all about getting to know the university with its many ins and outs, from finding classrooms and buildings to figuring out if unlimited meal swipes really meant unlimited meal swipes, and thank you, Mom and Dad, I appreciate that. Like leaves falling from the ginkgo tree besides the chapel, it felt like we were falling from the security that was high school, but we were enjoying the ride along the way. Winter quickly came with its snow and ice, landing one of Virginia's heaviest snowstorms during our second year, the Cavalanche. And we must have had too much fun because Vice President and Chief Operating Officer Pat Hogan didn't give us any snow days this year, unless of course your class began before 9 a.m., which I don't know if that applied to anyone out here. So, our second year experience though came with many dark days and nights, which impacted the entire university community and specifically our class, and we grieved. Yet, through much adversity, we braved the storm. We became unified once again under the bright lights of lighting of the lawn and remembering that we are a community of one here at the University of Virginia. Then, like the tulips in the university gardens, we emerged from the wintry sheath as newly energized third years. Third year met us like the bright sun, taking our basketball team to the Elite Eight, yet toasted many of us with our first drink ever at the the Foxfield races. We saw each other growing, and it quickly dawned on us that our time here is limited. How exactly were we supposed to get everything done in one more year? And then what exactly is a thesis? As the warm months of summer approach, we will begin a new chapter in each of our lives. Possibly, some of us will begin writing them together. That's a shout out to the first years who met in the crowd of O'Hill, while others may be taking more of a Ralph Waldo Emerson approach and writing it by themselves in continued exploration. Regardless of how you do it, the next chapter is sure to be uniquely your own. But as we walk the lawn in the coming days, proudly wearing the honors of honor, remember that at one point our paths did cross. Take this weekend as an opportunity to be thankful for what you have gained throughout our 4 years, and to treasure the times which have shaped us as lifelong learners. Again, welcome to the 2017 graduation weekend. Wahoos, enjoy it. Thank you.
Congratulations to the class of 2017. My name is Brianna Miller, and I'm honored to present the Algernon Sidney Sullivan Awards. Each year, the Algernon Sidney Sullivan Awards Committee selects 2 student recipients from the graduating class who best exemplify the highest qualities of Algernon Sidney Sullivan's life. The committee also selects an individual from the university community whose compassion, service, and influence is widely acknowledged and appreciated. All of the recipients of this award possess fine spiritual qualities practically applied in their daily living. They are distinctly defined by their actions, and their deeds are not spent on their own self-interest, but rather in the interest of community and humankind. They represent our highest ideals and our greatest hopes. Please hold your applause until I've read all 3 citations. An effective organization, institution, or university requires engaged citizens to provide structural continuity for its success and its survival. The vital work that sustains this university then requires an Alyssa triplet. She works tirelessly to help the organization to become stronger and stronger as she forms and promotes teams that endure, balancing complex responsibilities with effectiveness, humility, and compassion. Alyssa has been a servant leader of the many communities that she inhabits. As a mentor in the Office of African American Affairs Peer Advisor Program, Alyssa's advisees describe her as genuine, welcoming, encouraging, and someone who makes them feel at home in the university. Through her courage as an ally and an advocate, she has given voice to Black students in the LGBTQ community who have struggled with their own experiences. And she has also been an advocate for inclusiveness in the Greater Commerce School. She never seeks the spotlight, instead choosing to serve the university community and to help others from behind the scenes. Alyssa is deeply humble, never bragging about her involvements or her own great success in the classroom. At the same time, she is brave, doing what is right to care for her fellow students, even if that choice may be unpopular with her peers. Alyssa is all action and very little talk, and through her service, she has made the University of Virginia a better and more inclusive place. Thank you, Alyssa. Our next recipient is Jackson Nell. Jackson has been committed to the resident staff program since his 2nd year and is deeply respected by his peers. Through the thoughtfulness and care with which he approaches every decision and task, as the first single chair of the resident staff program, he created a new leadership model that brought deeper relevance and respect from those within and outside of the program. He delegated and empowered others, bringing resident staff together through a time of change and embracing the opportunity for greater student self-governance. Despite these accomplishments, Jackson frequently downplays his own success. He is compassionate, gentle, and warm. He is a patient listener and a person committed to being present. His calm confidence, kindness, and pursuit of what is right are why others have felt comfortable seeking his counsel and why he endears himself to so many. But Jackson is also willing to challenge others, to confront issues with care and concern, and above all, to push those around him to do better, for residents, for peers, and for the university community. Jackson collaborates effectively with students, staff, and administrators, always thinking about how we can work together in service to this university. In the words of one of his peers, he is the epitome of what we hope to be as a student leader. Jackson is a great colleague and a loyal friend. He is a master of doing the little things that make the people around him feel special, including leaving notes of encouragement before a big exam, remembering details about family and friends, or simply considering dietary restrictions when he buys snacks so that everyone has something to enjoy. He makes every person with whom he interacts feel like the most important person in the room. Thank you, Jackson. And finally, our community Algernon Sidney Sullivan recipient is Caroline Carey Rudder. Every interaction with Carey is characterized by heart, humility, and unselfish service. A dedicated member of the University Career Center for almost 2 decades, in every meeting, program, counseling appointment, and committee, her #1 priority is the student experience. Colleagues describe her as the heart of the Career Center, someone who is relied upon by every single employee for emotional and career guidance, whether they report to her or not. She does this over her own self-promotion, as she desires to see students and her team succeed above all else. Carey has touched an inestimable number of students in her career, making an impact 1 student at a time. She is especially committed to those students who are struggling to find their way, and recently convinced the Career Center to launch a new career community called the Exploring Community, which is designed to help students who have yet to form career plans and who need a connection point to the center. She is truly a master at career counseling, not only providing advice, but understanding what motivates each student to achieve his or her fullest potential. To be honest, she does that with everyone she knows. Carrie has a unique ability to put others first, and especially students. She lives in depth and matters of the heart. She helps students become comfortable with vulnerability and self-discovery, and has a skill for helping people take the broken pieces and put them together so that one is whole again and better because of the brokenness. Thanks to Carrie's selfless guidance, students feel confident, supported, and equipped to launch beyond the grounds. Please join me in congratulating Alyssa Triplett, Jackson Nell, and Carrie Rutter, this year's recipients of the Algernon Sidney Sullivan Award.
At Valediction each year, the Seventh Society presents two unique awards, the Louis A. Honesty Memorial Scholar Athlete Award and the James Earl Sargent Award, which are given annually to an outstanding student athlete and a student organization that makes a difference in the university community. This year, the Louis A. Honesty Memorial Scholar Athlete Award recipient is Leah Smith, a member of the women's swimming and diving team. Her commitment to her team, academics, and university community are outstanding, to say the least. Over the course of her athletic career, Ms. Leah Smith has demonstrated the highest standards of excellence, and she has dominated her intercollegiate competition. A member of the women's swim team, Ms. Smith is a two-time All-ACC academic honoree who has earned 12 All-ACC swimming accolades and is an 11-time All-American, a 10-time ACC champion, and winner of 4 national championships. She distinguished herself away from grounds as well, having represented the United States at the 2016 Olympic Games in Rio de Janeiro, where she won bronze in the 400-meter free and gold in the 4x200-meter freestyle relay. She is also a 3-time world champion and a 4-time world championship medalist. Several pages listing the accomplishments of this world-class competitor could be filled, but her dedication and service to the university community must not be overlooked. She has also been a guiding light for her teammates and peers, both in the athletics department and the university grounds in general. And she has never failed to display the highest degree of leadership and humility. The University of Virginia truly could not ask for a more qualified ambassador of sport, both intercollegiately and around the globe. Her coach, Augie Bush, described her as someone who is not only committed to maximizing her own potential as an athlete, but as someone who has a genuine desire to see her teammates succeed as well. Her unprecedented achievements and legacy are forever ingrained in our program. For her personal, academic, and athletic achievements and contributions to the university, I'm incredibly honored to present the Louis A. Honesty Memorial Scholar Athlete Award to Ms. Leah Smith. Leah, please come forward to accept your award. This year, the James Earl Sargent Award goes to the University of Virginia chapter of the Student National Medical Association, also known as SNMA. The mission of SNMA is threefold: to support current and future underrepresented minority medical students, to address the needs of underserved communities, and to increase the number of clinically relevant, excellent, socially conscious, and culturally competent physicians in the medical profession. Here, the national mission has combined with the university's tradition of student self-governance to create a remarkably vibrant and active presence within the School of Medicine. Through community outreach, academic programming, and mentorship relationships, UVA's SNMA chapter seeks to change the entrenched biases and inequalities that limit opportunities for minority students in the School of Medicine and create a cultural shift within the health system at the university in general. For the chapter's remarkable efforts, it was recognized as Chapter of the Year within its region this year, and Ms. Jewel Yama's School of Medicine class of 2018 received the National Member of the Year Award. The Seventh Society thanks SNMA for its excellent work and encourages its members in their fight for this admirable vision. Accepting the award on behalf of the UVA chapter of the Student National Medical Association is Tamara St. Surin, who served as the university's president this past year and is graduating from the School of Medicine this May. Tamara, please come forward and accept the James Earl Sargent Award.
Each year, the trustees of the graduating class bestow 3 awards upon students of their class who have contributed significantly to the university: the Award for Community Service, the Award for Cultural Fluency, and this year, the Diamond Award. Established in 1993, the Trustees Community Service Award honors a graduating student who has endeavored to enrich the university and Charlottesville communities through service during their tenure as a student. This year, we would like to recognize Shreya Mehran for this award. As an international student from India, Shreya has been able to navigate the university landscape to enact effective change for those in need. He is the founder of a nonprofit organization, Unsung People, which seeks to share stories of kindness collected from interactive events in order to bolster positive engagement throughout grounds. He views the world as a genuinely kind place and has made efforts to ensure that those in our community are able to recognize that. Not only has he succeeded in recognizing sources of positivity at our university, his organization has expanded to 5 other campuses throughout Europe, India, and New Zealand. Furthermore, as a co-founder and former president of the Community Honor Fund, Shreya has helped individuals reach financial stability through low-interest microloans and free financial coaching. With his personal dedication to helping those in need, he has built financial relationships that have aided those less fortunate in our community. He found the 5 clients that the fund currently serves and has built a relationship based on trust and support. At the university, Shreya has been a constant source of inspiration, exemplifying the idea that kindness and compassion, regardless of size, can bring a larger collective change among those in our community. Shreya's involvements and overall impact during his time here is indicative of what the world will gain when he leaves as a graduate from the University of Virginia. Shreya, will you please come forward to accept the Community Service Award? Established in 1996, The Trustees Cultural Fluency Award recognizes a graduating student who has demonstrated an understanding of and appreciation for cultural and intellectual diversity during their time at the university. This year, we would like to recognize Yolande Pocum Trizo. During her time at the university, Yolande has demonstrated her dedication to cultural understanding through her various involvements. She came to UVA and joined the International Residence College to further her understanding of other cultures and continued to live there for 4 years. There, she served as a peer mentor and advisor for international first-year and transfer students. She is also a member of the Volunteers with International Students, staff, and scholars. There, she led group conversations to build a more unified international community for both undergraduate and graduate students at the university for those whom English is a second language. In addition to her involvements at the university, Yolande has integrated her cultural interests with her professional life to provide aid throughout the world. She served as the president of the Student Telemedicine Organization, an effort to provide medicine to underserved countries. In the summer after her 3rd year, she examined the cultural acceptability and feasibility of self-screening for cervical cancer in Bluefields, Nicaragua, where cervical cancer is a prevalent health issue. And this summer, she will be a graduate assistant for the Minority Health and Health Disparities International Research Training in Uganda. Yolande, your service has uplifted our community members from other cultures, and you have helped them succeed and thrive. Your self-driven passion to make this world a better place through your endeavors is a source of inspiration for us all. As you graduate from the university, you will continue to provide the necessary and infectious support to build a community rich with diversity, culture, and understanding. Yolande, will you please come forward to accept the Cultural Fluency Award? The Diamond Award was created by the Class of 27 Trustees to recognize a student in our class who stands out and shines through their embodiment of resilience, optimism, and generosity of spirit. We would like to recognize Mario Sukar for this award. Mario has been a selfless and enduring member of our class. Despite his profound accomplishments, still remains humble. As a member of the service fraternity, Alpha Phi Omega, he has found several ways to give back to the community. He married his passions in computer science with service by developing a software that reduces food waste and sources it to those experiencing food scarcity. Through his genuine appreciation of others and dedication to service, he is helping feed hundreds of people in Charlottesville. As a first-generation college student, Mario has proven himself resilient, gaining prestigious positions and grants that have made him financially independent. His family immigrated to America from Egypt, living in close quarters for much of his childhood. His upbringing, in his own words, could have been worse. Mario cites the love and support provided to him by his family to allow him to reach professional success and discover his desire to help those in need. In light of his own accomplishments, Mario is truly optimistic, reflecting on his life as a constant state of progress. He inspires us all through resilience and selflessness to guide us in a direction of hope and positivity. Even in times of darkness, he saw light. Even in times of weakness, he was there as support. And Mario, even under pressure, you became a diamond. Mario, will you please come forward to accept the Diamond Award?
Each year, the Society of the Purple Shadows seeks to recognize those exceedingly rare individuals who both selflessly contribute to the university's betterment and also who advocate vigorously for those institutions that make the student life here at the university so unique and meaningful. It is in that spirit that the Society presents the 2017 Gordon F. Rainey Jr. Award for Vigilance to the Student Experience. With great pride, the Society announces this year's recipient, Dory K. Fontaine. Since the first days of your initial tenure as Dean of the Nursing School in 2008, the university community watched in awe how quickly and successfully you thrived. Fellow faculty members and administrators alike praise your excellent work in facilitating the vast and impressive growth of the nursing program. Your unparalleled energy and drive have led to many new initiatives and collaborative projects that not only produce real results, but also greatly enhance the educational experience for all of those involved. Your commitment to personal compassion and healthcare in the purest sense of the word have inspired many more than you could possibly know. While your professionalism is certainly deserving of the highest praise, perhaps what is even more laudable is the unprecedented passion and appreciation you demonstrate not only to the academic facet of this institution, but also to individual students who comprise it. Your relationships extend well beyond the nursing school, as anyone who has enjoyed the pleasure of your company at meetings, at student-focused banquets, in mediation spaces, and even within your welcoming home on the lawn in Pavilion 9 can attest. Your regard for the human spirit as the most powerful resource is salient and really what distinguishes you best from your colleagues. Brittany Wilson once said, "Nursing is so great for many reasons, but one reason that means more than any poll results, any amount of money, or any job security is nurses make a difference." Few on grounds can claim to have made as much difference as you, and the Society eagerly looks forward to your continued selfless service. For you, Dean Fontaine, are one of the university is proud to call her own, Society of Purple Shadows. Dory, please come forward.
Good afternoon. My name is Wyatt Moore.
And I'm Samantha Westrom.
And we are the co-chairs of the 2017 Class Giving Campaign. We'd like to briefly recognize the members of our committee who worked so hard to make this campaign a success.
Brooke Adams, Taylor Barr, Jason Carrier, Maripaz Casas Bombardelli, Asia Crawford, Maggie Gratz, Tiffany L. Kennedy, Marissa T. Lauber, Caitlin Sanju Lee, Emily Lodge, Nan Wong, and Gordon Willis Jr. We are incredibly grateful to have gotten to work with each of you this year, and we thank you for your service to the class.
Winston Churchill once said, "We make a living by what we get. We make a life by what we give." As students of this university, we have been given so much during our time here. After 4 years of calling this place our home, it is now our duty to help sustain and enhance the university experience for those that come after us. One way our class has and will continue to do this is through our gifts to the university.
The Class Giving Campaign aimed to engage 100% of the class of 2017 in giving back to any area of the university that has made an impact on their college experience. 53% of fourth-year students participated in class giving this year, over 1,930 students, with funds designated to more than 450 organizations and departments across grounds.
On behalf of the university, we want to say thank you for leaving a legacy through your participation in our campaign. Each gift is critically important to the success of the university and overwhelmingly valued by every area that received financial support. We hope that this tradition of giving back is something for which our class will always be remembered. And we hope you will continue to give to UVA in the future.
President Sullivan, on behalf of the class of 2017, we are pleased to present to you this check for $316,517. Congratulations to the class of 2017.
Well, thank you, Mr. Moore, Ms. Westrom, trustees, members of the class of 2017. Class of 2017 did a remarkable job. I'm very grateful for your generosity and for the many ways in which your gift will enhance the university. Trustees of the class of 2017 are continuing the one-year undesignated gift program adopted by the class of 1997. The class gift has become quite a tradition here. This program offers each student the opportunity to make a cash gift and to direct it to areas of the university that are most meaningful to him or her. More than 400 programs have benefited from the generosity of this class, and this giving is broadly distributed across the university. This year, the class gift will benefit various schools and departments, the University Library, Madison House, the Office of African American Affairs, the Women's Center, the Fralin Museum of Art, the Cavalier Marching Band, and other arts organizations. More than 250 student organizations and 50 sorority and fraternity foundations, and the Virginia Athletics Foundation. For the students here today, I hope that your interest in and support for these programs will continue through the years. The nearly 2,000 members of the class who have participated in this giving campaign leave an enduring mark on the university. Your gifts will strengthen us and remind us of the generous spirit of the class of 2017. Before we continue with the program, let me draw your attention to one feature of this wonderful weekend. Among the many events scheduled for finals weekend is the ROTC commissioning exercise. Members of the class of 2017 who have chosen to serve our country in the Army, Navy, Air Force, and Marines received their commissions as second lieutenants or as ensigns earlier this afternoon. When you see our graduating students in uniform this weekend, I hope you will pause to congratulate them and thank them for their service to our country. They have chosen a future based on service to our nation, and they deserve recognition and gratitude. Class of 2017, I will have the opportunity to see you in more formal occasions and dressed a little differently over the next 2 days. But right now, I just want to say to you how much I have enjoyed getting to know so many of you, since you arrived on the grounds. It is fashionable to proclaim that members of your generation are fragile and not very resilient. That is certainly not true of your class. I have watched you overcome collectively many adversities that other classes did not face. And I know that there are empty chairs here, and that you remember those people who should have been sitting in those chairs. I just want to tell you how much I admire and respect the way you have handled yourselves since you first entered the university. And thanks to all of you for being here to help us celebrate this important milestone for our students.
Friends, family, and the class of 2017. First, I want to start by thanking everyone for attending today's valediction ceremony. Now, I want to ask all of you to reflect on your past few years. Are you where you thought you would be? Has life taken you on a few twists and turns? Well, everything that has led us to where we are right now is partly because of the people we have encountered. Throughout these past 4 years, we have been so fortunate to have been impacted by the stories, work, and lives of so many unsung heroes. So before we start looking at 401k investments, healthcare plans, and trying to figure out why there are so many different settings on the washing machine, we have to thank the people who kept us from having to adult this entire time. First and foremost, thank you to those individuals who do not receive enough appreciation. Those who kept our buildings and grounds looking spectacular. From every dining hall, library, and garden, we were always blessed with a pristine space to dine, study, and take that obligatory return to selfie. In Ms. Cathy's own words, you vital caretakers of UVA are butt kickers, and we are grateful for all that you do. To the city of Charlottesville and all who inhabit it, thank you for providing the best home for all 17,000 of us undergrads. You have provided us with decadent local eateries, an eclectic art scene, and a welcome retreat from the academic battle we have fought throughout these 4 years. Next, a gracious thanks to the administrators of the university. Through these past 4 years, we have looked to you for guidance and wisdom, and you have always given us both. Your leadership has navigated us through tough waters, and we've come out on the other side. We are truly indebted to you for your help in our 4-year adventure. To the professors who challenged us to work harder than we played, to keep an open mind, and to explore our passions while guiding us to success, thank you. You've given life to our studies, and your open door, and sometimes home, policies have continued the tradition of collaboration and mentorship that Jefferson wanted in his institution. Without you all, our degrees would have no meaning. Now, perhaps the biggest thank you goes out to those we call our families, our day ones. Sure, after those first few months at school, the phone calls lessened and usually started with, "Hey, can I have?" And if you were anything like me, you only went home when you had to and usually brought an entire semester's worth of laundry. But we do love you. We would not be the young adults we are without the lessons you have taught us along the way. We will forever be grateful for the sacrifices you have made and the opportunities you provided us. Finally, class of 2017, thank you for being the roommates who woke us up for our 8 a.m. classes, and the classmates who took notes for us when our roommates didn't wake us up. Thank you for being the friendly face and new friend while waiting in the stir-fry line. And thank you for being the family that we all needed. Sure, just like any family, there are some fights here and there, and the occasional awkward Thanksgiving table conversation, but we always rallied together. These past 4 years have been a roller coaster of emotion, but through every challenge, we supported each other and have left a lasting legacy on these hallowed grounds. Although we will walk the lawn on 2 separate days, we will graduate with one heart, knowing that we will leave the University of Virginia as scholars, artists, national champions, friends, and most importantly, as the class of 2017. And for that, I thank you.
Good afternoon, graduating class of 2017, faculty and staff, and guests. My name is Jessie Rivera, and today I am honored to introduce to you our valedictory exercises speaker, Juan Manuel Santos, the President of Colombia and the 2016 Nobel Peace Prize laureate. President Santos is no stranger to the University of Virginia. He is the father of one of our own, Esteban Santos, a member of the class of 2017 who is graduating with us this weekend from the Frank Batten School of Leadership and Public Policy. Additionally, in 2013, President Santos addressed an audience of students and faculty in the Rotunda's Dome Room about his country's progress and his government's peace negotiations with Marxist rebels. President Santos was born in Bogota, Colombia. He attended school there until he was 16 and then attended the Naval Academy in Cartagena. At the age of 20, he moved to the United States to pursue higher education. He holds a bachelor's degree in economics and business administration from the University of Kansas, a master's degree in economic development from the London School of Economics, and another master's degree in public administration from Harvard University. He also served as a Fulbright visiting fellow at the Fletcher School of Law and Diplomacy at Tufts University, and was also awarded a Nieman Fellowship at the Nieman Foundation for Journalism at Harvard University. Before entering the realm of politics, President Santos served as a columnist and director of his family-owned newspaper, El Tiempo, one of Colombia's largest newspapers. His reporting earned him a number of accolades, including the King of Spain International Journalism Prize. In addition to his reporting and leadership at El Tiempo, Mr. Santos served as president of the Freedom of Expression Commission for the Inter-American Press Association and the vice chair of the Inter-American Dialogue, a Washington-based think tank. Furthermore, he has authored several books, including The Third Way, co-written with former British Prime Minister Tony Blair. President Santos was Colombia's first Minister of Foreign Trade. He also served as the Minister of Finance and the Minister of Defense before being elected as President of Colombia in 2010. In that election, he received the highest number of votes of any candidate in the history of the Colombian democracy. In 2014, he was re-elected for a second term as the President of Colombia. During his tenure, Colombia has experienced an improved economy and a decrease in unemployment and poverty. His most notable legacy, however, has been his commitment to ending the conflict with the Revolutionary Armed Forces of Colombia, or FARC, a leftist guerrilla organization. This conflict, which has cost many lives and displaced millions of Colombians, was the longest-running war and last remaining guerrilla struggle in the Western Hemisphere. In the fall of 2016, after 6 years of government-led negotiations with FARC, President Santos and his governing coalition successfully brokered a peace deal with the organization. President Santos was awarded the 2016 Nobel Peace Prize for his tireless efforts to end the country's civil war with FARC. Upon accepting this award, he posed a powerful question. If war can come to end in one hemisphere, why not one day in both hemispheres? Perhaps more than ever before, we can now dare to imagine a world without war. The impossible is becoming possible. Given President Santos' dedication to peace and excellence, we are truly honored to have such a powerful and wise speaker with us here today. President Santos, on behalf of the class of 2017 and at the University of Virginia, thank you so much for being with us here today.
Thank you, Jesse. Dear President Sullivan, members of the board, distinguished members of the faculty, honored alumni, family members, friends, and most importantly, the next generation of leaders from across the world. I would like to distinguish the presence here of Ambassador Whittaker. He is the current ambassador of the United States in my country, in Colombia. He has been a great ambassador, He has many virtues, but probably the most important virtue is that he is a wahoo. I feel extraordinarily honored and touched to stand in front of all of you today, and especially the students of the graduating class of 2017, as you celebrate this momentous milestone in your lives. As a parent of one of today's graduates, I can feel the pride and the joy that your family members are experiencing right now. Let me take this opportunity to offer my deep gratitude for the education and experiences this great and world-famous university has offered my son Esteban and his fellow classmates. I feel another connection here too, because my country happens to have been established in the same year that Thomas Jefferson founded this university, 1819. We will reach our 200th birthday together. Indeed, Colombia was inspired by the very same principles embraced by the founders of this great nation: liberty, equality, and democracy. These principles lit the path that led toward our freedom. They fashioned our own birth as a nation, and they continue to guide our way forward even today, and will no doubt into the future. So, what thoughts can I share with you, a new generation of young women and men, as you go out into the world to seek adventure and the fulfillment of your dreams? I suppose I could talk to you about the recipe for success, or the value of wisdom and knowledge, or perhaps the meaning of life. But I am no Steve Jobs. I feel more comfortable talking to you about something a bit more awkward, but more practical to this occasion: failure. I want to talk to you about getting knocked down, about the intrinsic value of defeat, and what happens when it seems like every obstacle is in your way. Right now, if you have read the international polls suggesting that Colombians are one of the happiest people in the world, you might be wondering, why is their president being such a downer? We want to be successful. We don't want to be failures. Well, of course, you want to be successful. The problem is that success has no guaranteed formula. The only guarantee is that you will face failure more often than success. But if you learn how to use the incredibly valuable lessons that failure offers you to further your goals and dreams, then, and only then, your life will end up being a true success. So first, let us consider what success actually means. Is it professional excellence? Is it measured by how many zeros are in your bank account? Is it the pursuit of an exercise of power? I am certain that most of you already know there is much, much more to success than any of these simple and basic definitions. My favorite definition of success was beautifully articulated by Ralph Waldo Emerson almost 2 centuries ago. He wrote, "What is success? To laugh often and much, to win the respect of intelligent people and the affection of children, to earn the appreciation of honest critics and endure the betrayal of false friends, to appreciate beauty, to find the best in others, to leave the world a bit better, whether by a healthy child, a garden patch, or a redeemed social condition. To know even one life has breathed easier because you have lived. This is to have succeeded. I love this definition, and my favorite part is the line that says, to know even one life has breathed easier because you have lived. That, honored graduates of the class of 2017, is the true definition of success. To make a difference, to help a friend, a fellow citizen, your community, or your nation be a little bit better simply because you existed. So if that is success, then what is failure? To illustrate this point, let me tell you a few personal stories about my life, defined by a journalist friend of mine as a true paradox. A successful life full of failures and defeats. As a young man about your age, I was a cadet in my country's Naval Academy, and there, in my sailing classes, I learned my first valuable lesson, captured perfectly by the Roman philosopher Seneca. Ignoranti quem portum petat, nullus sus ventus est. Which essentially means, if you don't know what port we are steering toward, no wind is favorable to us. My own interpretation of this phrase is one that has guided my life ever since. When we do know what port we are steering toward, even the most contrary winds can help us reach it. This is what we did in Colombia. We set our sights on our most important port of destination, the most important destination any nation should and can seek: peace. Peace after more than 50 years of armed conflict. And we made use of the most ferocious storms and the foulest winds to help us get there. You see, for most of the almost 200 years since our independence, Colombia has lived a painful history of internal war and violence. During the 19th century, we were the country with the most civil wars in all of Latin America. More recently, for more than 50 years, we suffered an internal armed conflict with the Marxist guerrilla group called the FARC. This conflict devastated our country and left over 8 million victims and over 220,000 dead. Almost all my predecessors attempted to defeat the guerrillas militarily, but failure met their efforts. In a geography as vast and complex as Colombia's, our country is larger than California and Texas put together, with jungles and mountains everywhere. That kind of victory proved to be virtually impossible. Many tried to negotiate a resolution through dialogue with this guerrilla group, the oldest and most powerful in the Americas. None of these worthwhile attempt succeeded. Neither side believed in the other's willingness to make and maintain peace. We needed to create the conditions to overcome this mistrust. The lesson is, you have to know your port of destination, but also understand the weather conditions and the routes you must navigate to take you there. More than 25 years ago, I met Nelson Mandela in South Africa. He made me realize that Colombians could not dream of having a prosperous nation if we did not end our internal armed conflict. In Colombia, my beautiful country, generation after generation became used to violence in their daily lives, in the news, everywhere, like a bizarre alternative reality. Because no one in my country younger than 70 had ever experienced a single day of peace, I set peace as my personal port of destination. On the way, however, I experienced many more failures than successes. It was a long, hard, and bumpy journey. I stumbled many times, but each time I picked myself up and tried to learn from each defeat. I sought to overcome each setback. I was stubborn, persistent, resolute. I became obsessed with reaching this dreamed-of destination for my generation, and most importantly, the next generation. In the 1990s, as a private citizen, as a journalist, I began to reach out to members of the illegal armed groups. Big mistake. I was denounced as a conspirator against the government. Some years later, when I was Minister of Defense, I became very popular because I delivered the most crushing military strikes against the FARC guerrillas they had ever seen, taking down many of their top leaders. When I became president, many thought I would continue on the path of war and seek the complete destruction of my enemies. It was the easy, the natural, and the popular option. So when I announced instead that I would seek peace through dialogue, I was called a traitor. And sadly, many in Colombia still think of me that way. And I learned that, ironically, it is much more popular to make war than to make peace. My polls went down dramatically. My advisors suggested I should pull back. But even in the face of these odds, I decided to stay the course. I knew deep down in my heart that as long as there is even a slight chance, a small opening to bring to an end such a bloody and tragic war, I just had to try. If I hadn't, I would never have forgiven myself. You too will discover someday that your conscience will whisper in your ear, late at night, telling you the right thing to do. And I ask you, follow that voice. It is the voice of your inner wisdom. In 2014, I ran for re-election, right in the middle of the peace negotiations. And guess what? I got fewer votes in the first round than the candidate who had run against the peace process. We won the second round, but our troubles were not over. Late last year, the unthinkable happened. After 6 years of incredibly difficult negotiations, a peace agreement was signed. Our dream was on the verge of becoming reality. As I had promised the Colombian people, I put the agreement to a popular vote in a referendum. And again, guess what? To everyone's surprise, the no vote won, albeit by an extremely small margin. We experienced a kind of Brexit after Brexit. We had a fake news problem before fake news became a hashtag. We had underestimated how a campaign of lies and messages of fear, division, and exclusion would sway many votes and deter many voters. The country and the international community were shocked. So what did I do? I immediately accepted the result and embarked on a strategic dialogue with the opposition. I met with many of the leaders who had criticized the agreement and dedicated myself to listen to their concerns. Despair was beginning to take hold of Colombia. But then our young people, people like you, decided to take their future in their hands. And they went out to the streets, to the plazas, to demand peace now, a new agreement now. And exactly 4 days after losing the referendum, I got a very surprising call informing me that I had won the Nobel Peace Prize. It was like a gift from God. It was like a gift from God. And there's another lesson here. Whenever you are in deep trouble, pray. God is merciful. With this new and unexpected momentum, we went back to the FARC and reopened negotiations. The end result was a better agreement than the original. In fact, many experts consider this peace agreement as the best and most comprehensive signed so far in the world to resolve an internal armed conflict. So as you see, precisely through failure after failure, defeat after defeat, we were able to create new opportunities, and we made what seemed impossible possible. In the words of Jefferson, the founder of this great university, nothing can stop a person with the right mental attitude from achieving his goal. So today, dear members of the great and formidable Wahoo community, Colombia is finally building an enduring peace. Today, in our military hospitals, the beds that once were full with wounded soldiers are now almost empty. Today, thousands of guerrilla fighters are laying down their weapons, learning new skills, and getting ready to reintegrate themselves into society under our democratic system based on the rule of law. Our ship is finally arriving at this destination, not because it was easy, but because it was hard. It was with these wise words that JFK, your great president, summoned your grandparents, your grandparents' generation to support a mission to the moon. So as you leave here today, ask yourselves, what is and what will be your port of destination? What is your moonshot? Every storm, every foul wind, every force in the universe will help you get there. That I promise you. Today's polarized world is facing political upheaval, the threat of terror, eruptions of brutal sectarian warfare, and the rising, terrifying possibility of nuclear conflict. The answer is not to give in into fear. The answer is not to give in into intolerance and hatred towards those who are different from you. Your generation cannot and must not retreat and give in to these regressive and sinister forces. Your generation must lead now, not later, now. Your leadership must unify, not divide. And that leadership must be wise at your young age. That is the responsibility you will carry starting today, no matter your chosen profession. Your generation has compassion. Your generation believes in the unifying power of love. Your generation sees diversity as a strength, not a weakness. You will do the right thing for the rest of us, because you understand that this is not the moment to come apart, but to come together. This is not the moment to turn away, but to reach out. This is not the time to disconnect, but to reconnect. Differences in race, creed, or sexual preference cannot distract us from this essential, indisputable truth. We are all humans. We are all one. We are only one people, and we call it the world. We are only one race, and we call it humanity. So, dear graduates, I urge you to be successful in making a difference, in creating a more compassionate, tolerant, and loving world. And let it be said about you that one life has breathed easier because you have lived. Our future depends on your success. Congratulations, class of 2017, and good luck. Thank you.
I'd like to be the first to thank President Santos for those truly incredible remarks. Mr. Santos, we are so happy to hear you with us this weekend. All right, class of 2017. It has been an unparalleled honor and truly a life-defining experience to serve as your class president. I'm so grateful to all of you for that privilege, as well as the opportunity to address you today, right now. Tradition holds that the class president provides farewell remarks at the conclusion of valedictory exercises, saluting all graduates at our final gathering before we walk the lawn later this weekend. Now, with so much time spent alongside each other in Charlottesville, there really is so much that I could talk about, and I think a lot of the addresses today have already touched upon this. I could talk about the classic UVA scenes in which we took part, like the double snow day we received first year that led hundreds of us to bundle up and storm the lawn for the largest snowball fight I've ever witnessed. And others to unbundle, shall we say, and see if they could handle dozens of snowballs hitting their bare skin on the beeline from the rotunda to Homer. You thought I was going to name names, didn't you? Yeah. I could mention all the incredible sports moments we got to witness, from that stunning ACC championship win against Duke in 2014 to this past summer when one of our own classmates won gold for the United States at the Rio Olympics. I could even delve into the miscellaneous category, like that bizarre sweater vests tank tops trend third year. But I try not to think about that last one much. There's so much to reflect on. I've been searching for a succinct way to symbolize everything that has transpired during these concentrated, intense, exhausting, and exhilarating 4 years. And after some serious contemplation, I found that symbol, interestingly enough, to be a handshake. For such a simple gesture, there's a lot to a handshake. It's something my mother and father told me from a young age to master in order to ensure a good first impression. It's something that when I'm not at the stage in a friendship where I can greet him or her with a bear hug, I use to err on the safe side. It's something we might do if we want to ratify someone else's viewpoint, or even to finalize an agreement or contract. It's a gesture that can carry almost any meaning under the sun. Despite that versatile nature, however, it's also something that, as a metaphor, feels tailor-made for a crossroads such as this, where we need gestures to satisfy the conflicting emotions we may feel. So today, I would like to touch upon 3 types of handshakes with you: a greeting, a farewell, and a closing of the deal. First, the greeting. Think back to the first time that we have assembled as a class. August 25th, 2013, 1,364 days ago. It was surprisingly cool for a late summer afternoon, only 75 degrees, unlike today. We were facing in the opposite direction that we will face this weekend, toward the Rotunda instead of Old Cabell Hall. We were there for the year's opening convocation and honor induction. Many of us, if you recall, were decked out in head-to-toe pastels. I know I was, probably much more than any of us would care to admit now, seeking to feed in with some preconception of UVA culture. I remember I was sitting with 2 people that I had only met earlier that day, a girl from Arkansas and a guy from Tennessee, both from states that I had never even been to, let alone met someone from there. In classic first week of college fashion, it was all entirely disorienting, but each of us were clearly doing our best to live up to the pristine image of UVA, an image that inspired us to come learn, live, and grow here, but simultaneously intimidated us. So it was ultimately surprising that on the day we saw the university in such a formal and dignified light in the majesty of the lawn, a number of the speeches that we heard dressed down UVA and many of its age-old institutions. Several speakers acknowledged that UVA comes with time-honored traditions, yet those same speakers charged us, the new generation of students, to either sustain those traditions or to challenge ideas and scrutinize what already makes this place special in order to make it even better. To accomplish this, however, we had to recognize our new and influential place in the university community, and UVA was ready to help us do that by letting us know on literal day 1. I think this idea was best summarized that day by the chair of the honor committee, who spoke near the conclusion of the ceremony. He invited all of us to stand, then asked for those who had lied, cheated, or stolen prior to arriving at UVA to sit down. After a few seconds, despite there being thousands of people on the lawn, no one remained standing. And for a moment, it looked like the class of 2017 was off to a miserable start. But then, paraphrasing his remarks, he pointed out that no ideal can ever be achieved. We can only ever commit ourselves to striving for it as best we can, especially after we inevitably fall short. I think President Santos identified that pretty articulately too. In his eyes, UVA was better equipped than any other institution to foster that virtue. And if we believed that we could further contribute to this community and believe in the potential of the university and everything for which it stands, then we should shake the hands of those around us as a symbol of that commitment, and all of us did. And how remarkably has the class of 2017 followed through on that commitment in the time since? We have thrown ourselves into our courses, semester after semester, populated and perpetuated the hundreds of student organizations on grounds, involved ourselves in the community, and held ourselves to the highest standard. In moments of crisis, fellow classmates have had the primary say in directing the university's response, as well as subsequent action items. I think it's no coincidence that a university which promotes student self-governance as a core principle, I have developed as many role models my own age as I have professors and mentors decades older than me. When reflecting with a friend on this notion that has defined our university experience, she provided me a quote that beautifully summarized this idea from author Joan Didion. "A place belongs forever to whoever claims it hardest, remembers it most obsessively, wrenches it from itself, shapes it, renders it, loves it so radically that he remakes it in his own image." So now we fast forward 3 years and 9 months and confront the farewell. This weekend, we will be shaking hands with university faculty when receiving our diplomas, and with friends who may either be headed to the same city, same apartment, same house, or across the world, thousands of miles away. At this closing bracket of our undergraduate years, there's no semblance at all of the nervous, intimidated 18-year-olds that sat on the lawn. This place has become our own, truly. But it won't remain our own for much longer, not even through the duration of this weekend. As soon as we leave town to begin the rest of our lives, those same feelings from the fall of 2013 that we felt so acutely may come rushing back. And so many of us may once again feel unprepared and vulnerable to the harsh judgments of the world. Similar to the pristine image so many of us had of UVA 4 years ago, the new cities and new people and new institutions we will encounter may look so put together they seem untouchable. But so long as we remember the capacity we have to impact our surroundings, as UVA has taught us so thoroughly during our time here, we can remain invested stewards of our communities in perpetuity, wherever they are. So, we've looked to the past and to the future. Now it is time to focus on the present, right here and right now. But in order to do that, I ask you to return to that cool August afternoon in 2013 with me one more time, so we can close this deal. At the end of that ceremony, when we were asked to shake hands, it felt strange, especially since we did not have a real choice in that moment. None of us were going to leave the lawn. Of course, we all knew we would make new friends, become comfortable in these new surroundings eventually at some indeterminate point down the road. But the perspective we have now is remarkable. That group of teenagers assembled in front of the rotunda, then strangers, are now brothers and sisters for life. A group with a unique bond that will last for years and decades beyond this moment when we formally say goodbye. We may be passing this place on to new students, but we will forever carry a piece of this place with us, just as we've left a piece of ourselves here in Charlottesville. We may no longer be University of Virginia students, but now we become University of Virginia graduates. And if you're committed to the new responsibilities with which every UVA grad is charged, if you have every intention to walk the lawn, face the world, and give it everything you have to honor the unmatched education that you have pursued here, then please stand up right now and close this deal by shaking the hands of your neighbors. That includes everyone on stage. All right. Class of 2017. I salute you and I thank you for claiming UVA, remembering these grounds obsessively, wrenching this community from itself, shaping it, rendering it, and loving this place so radically that you remade it in your image. Thank you and farewell. I look forward to seeing all of you at the class party tonight. Thank you and happy finals weekend.